now you got a couple of years under McVay. Somebody told me this year his personality, he shifted a little bit in some experiential things at camp, that he's got a little more of a social life, blah, blah, blah. Do you notice a little difference in Sean McVay now that you're with him for 3 years?
You know, I keep joking with him. He's going to start having some of these grays I got the way it's going. You know, it's as you get that experience and the stress of being an NFL head coach, man, it's a lot. And, yeah, I really think he's done a great job of just adapting to being that head coach. And now he's got 3 years into it and really is kind of finding his groove and what makes him happy and drives him to continue to be in this profession. So I think you're continuing to see that growth in him, not necessarily as a coach, but also just as a man and a person who's in charge of obviously a huge organization.
You know, it's interesting. He doesn't believe in playing starters much in preseason, so it's not a huge change for you. I mean, do you feel like this morning you're kind of in the same shape you were a year ago? Do you potentially don't feel a great deal of difference?
Yeah, I would say really one thing that does play into our favor with the Rams organization is that this is kind of how we've handled the preseason the last 3 years. We've kind of had a schedule that involved really the starters not playing in the preseason, so we've kind of been prepared that way. We've kind of always had our schedule of kind of scrimmages and different things right before the preseason games, and then allowing the other players to play in the preseason game. So this really hasn't changed much of our preparation and how we really prepared for the last few years since we've been with Coach McVay.
So last year it was Todd Gurley. It felt a little bit like a walking on eggshell situation. You go out and draft Cam Akers. According to various reports, he could start week 1. He's been very good. I know everybody, we could never quite get a straight answer last year, but it did feel like with Gurley, it was nobody quite knew, should he play, should he not? There's an injury. Cam Akers, the report is he's ready to go. He's really good. And do you kind of sense this team will go back to more power running this year?
Yeah, I really think you look at it with Cam and the ability he's been able to come in and as a young back and understand his role and his job and all the things we do offensively. I think he's done a tremendous job, and what a great example he's had in a guy like Malcolm Brown, who is still here with us, who's just one of those guys that just does everything right. I mean, he's just one of those people that everything he does and the way he goes about his job is the right way. And so Cam has a great guy to kind of look to and learn from and just go through that process with. And so I think that's going to help him out tremendously because he obviously has the physical talent to be a really special back.
So you play the Cowboys in week 1. You're going to go up against Everson Griffin, some Aldon Smith. So when you look at film, they've got some new pieces defensively. What does Dallas do to try to make things difficult to a left tackle and an offensive line? What will I see in the trenches this week?
Well, I would think that you're going to see some of a little bit of maybe the old Saints defense with Mike Nolan coming from there, having been helping there, and then also some of the things he used to do back when he was a signal caller before. And so I think that you're going to get a little mixture of that. You don't fully know what they'll play or what they'll decide to do, but with those two guys, you're looking at a guy in Everson who's been a tremendous rusher for a long time and always been a tone setter, a guy who plays extremely hard. And then Aldon Smith, I had to dig all the way back, calling all the 2011, 12, 13 to find some Aldon Smith tape. And you know what, a guy that I've been around, in the off seasons and stuff, and just proud of the change he's made in his life and where he is physically. And man, what a special talent he was and I would imagine is going to be. So, getting prepared takes a little bit of digging back in the archives for this one.
So Van Jefferson's a wide receiver. I'm reading the LA Times. I'm reading all the blogs. They're like, he's been the shock of the camp, which is remarkable because there was no preseason. Talk about the receiving core, Van Jefferson, and are you surprised that the kids come in with no OTAs, no camp, and have flourished?
I think sometimes it's a reflection also of just, they're great talents and they have the ability, but also their room. And much like the running back room, and I said with Malcolm, I mean, you look at the guys that really he's had an opportunity to work around with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I mean, tone setters for us, guys that are, just the guys that do everything the correct way, that their technique and their fundamentals is flawless. The way they go to work every day is unbelievable. Watching tape of those two blocking downfield is as impressive as their route running. And so I think for Van, it's to come in with a skill set and be around those guys who do it that way and at that level. I think it's helped him tremendously. And man, has he looked good. I mean, I think he's going to be a really effective player for this organization for years to come.
Jared Goff, notice any difference now? He goes into another year. It's funny in the media, everybody kind of buried the Rams, but you were 9-7 with multiple injuries. Jared Goff, have you noticed a difference?
You really have. I think he's just continuing to grow. I don't know so much if it's always just about football in the NFL. It's sometimes about these guys maturing as men and everything else, and that helps them be better football players. And I think for him, it's one of those things. He's really coming into his own, his ownership of the team and really himself and who he wants to be. And I think you just feel that edge, that attitude that, it's on me and how I perform, and the things I do week in and week out will dictate our success level. And I think he's ready to embrace that and has had that kind of edge and attitude to him as we've gone through camp.
Good stuff, Andrew Whitworth, left tackle extraordinaire. Day off. You get a few of those and have fun, stay healthy, and it's great talking to you.
Hey, you too, as always. Good luck with that beard, too.
Yeah, not much of one, but I do appreciate that. When the check engine light comes on, there's a lot of anxiety. Does not need to be. Carshield.com, code HERD. A deductible may apply. So here's my herd hierarchy, Joy. This is my top 10 teams in the NFL. Now, Cleveland did not make it. Denver did not make it, and Buffalo did not make it. So they were all really, really close. I don't know if